Well, after the extreme wintry weather that we've been having, it's good to get some live action again. It's still pretty nippy out here and it's raining as well, but today we're visiting for the very first time the most successful core team in the Borders. We're here at Mansfield Hoch, the home of Hawick YM. Yes, welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup, and we're here for the delayed Scottish Hydroelectric Cup Round 4 clash between Hawick YM and STEWART'S-MELVILLE from Premier 2. YM's achievements so far this season have been phenomenal, winning 15 of their 17 games in National League 2 and conceding less than 8 points per game. Known as the Redskins but running out in Hawick Green on Saturday, this was their toughest test against a side several divisions above them. And with the strong wind advantage going to STEWART'S-MELVILLE in the first half, it was never going to be easy. Stu-Mel ran in 4 unconverted tries in the first 40 minutes to lead 20-0, including this one from Nick Wood. But YM opened up their opponents on several occasions, including this move which nearly came off for Glyn Desport. And in defence, time and again, they knocked back Stu-Mel, turning over possession. At 20 points down, they had a real chance to turn things round, but 3 minutes into injury time, a decisive 5th try from Hayden Lingard gave the National League side a real mountain to climb. With Wood converting, it was 27-0 at the break, and early in the second half the men from Inverleith started where they left off, with this powerful run from Stuart Clark, but a fantastic cover tackle from Glyn Desport kept his team in the game. The confidence was growing and both Desport brothers came close to scoring tries. First Glyn, and then Sean. And scrum half Josh Farmer was just inches away from beating his opposite number to the touchdown here. In an almost identical move to one earlier, Sean Desport was nearly in for a try out on the right. YM deserved a score, and right at the end they finally got one. A chip through from Graham Rennick was picked up by Mark Young. Gregor Welsh converted to make the final score Hawick YM 7, STEWART'S-MELVILLE 27.
We had to stick in, and we really did in the first half. I mean, 27-0 said something, it didn't reflect that at all. I mean, we gave everything in defence, and apparently we've got the best defensive record in Scotland at the moment, so we kind of expected to keep them out as much as we could.
We're disappointed obviously that we've came up short, 27-7. The first half was pretty difficult for us playing out of these conditions. It's not easy. STEWART'S-MELVILLE, to their credit, made full use of the conditions elements and put us under the cosh.
Moving into round 5 now of the Scottish Hydroelectric Cup, and at the Greenyards it was Melrose from Premier 1 against National League 2 giant killers Whitecraigs. Now in the earlier round, Whitecraigs knocked out Premier 2's Peebles. Would there be a cup upset at the Greenyards? Well, Laing Speirs was there.
Melrose slipped into top gear after the first few minutes of this game and were comfortably through to the next round of the Cup. They're holders, of course, and on this form they're going to be very hard to beat. They will need tougher opposition than Whitecraigs were able to provide at the Greenyards. It was a 10-try romp for Melrose, and they had lots of firepower. Callum Anderson, Jordan Macy and others running at pace throughout the afternoon. Whitecraigs had ideas, but their execution wasn't very good, and Melrose were able to take control up front, release the ball to a bunch of backs who were prepared to run all afternoon and into the evening if required. It wasn't.
Also in round 5 of the Cup, Selkirk went away to Perthshire and Atholl Innes went with them.
Selkirk got the fight of their lives before squeezing past a gallant and battering Perthshire at 34 points to 30 in a remarkable game in the North Inch. With 2 late scores from Fraser Hartness and Scott Henry, eased a jittery Selkirk into the last 8 of the Scottish Hydroelectric Cup. Fullback James Fleming was the hero for the home side with 3 tries. But it was Scott Henry with his try, 2 conversions and 5 penalties who proved the eventual match winner. Selkirk's other try came from Jason Henry. But the home team refused to buckle and hit back with an injury time try from Craig Walker. Selkirk were relieved to hear the final whistle and get into the next round. But that said, coach Michael Jaffrey was the only positive in a disappointing afternoon.
On your screen now are the results from the Cup, and you'll notice at the top the Championship Committee decided, due to the many postponed games thanks to the weather, that some smaller clubs would have to be kicked out of the competition in an attempt to get things back on course again. Sadly, St Boswells were one of the teams axed. They were demoted to the Bowl, but as a protest they refused to play that game, and we now await news of the consequences of that. You'll also see that Hawick, Kelso and Gallop won through to take part in round 5 next week, and we'll give out next week's fixtures later in the programme. But after the break, we turn our attention to the Shield competition. Let's have a look at the Scottish Hydroelectric Shield competition now. And there was no match for Jed Forest. They were supposed to take on Allen Glens at Riverside Park, but Allen Glens withdrew because they couldn't field enough props in their side. So Jed go through to round 2. Meanwhile, the holders of the competition, Garnock, visited the Gites to take on Peebles, and Bill Polson was there.
Dan Botwood kicked 2 first-quarter penalties at the Gites for Peebles, who played off the sin-binning of Donald Anderson without conceding a score. In the second quarter, the home forwards put Garnock under pressure, which yielded a try after 31 minutes when a pass from flanker Donald Sangster sent number 8 James Oakes racing over the line. Botwood converted as he did again when front row replacement Trevor Keane crossed for a try after Peebles had played through the phases. Shield holders Garnock came back into the game at the end of the first half when blindside flanker Stuart Wilson nipped down a narrow channel for an unconverted try in the left corner. Botwood kicked his 3rd penalty early in the second half, but soon after a scything break by Garnock's scrum half, Paul McCrory set up right wing Andy Lyons for a try. McCrory converted and kicked a penalty on the hour mark to end the scoring, although both sides had later opportunities. Final score, Peebles 23, Garnock 15.
Here's the results of all the other local games played at the weekend, along with next week's fixtures, which are mainly on Sunday the 1st of March, due to the Scotland-Italy game at Murrayfield being played on Saturday. Finally today, the result of our competition for tickets to see Scotland against Italy at Murrayfield on February the 28th. And it's well done to George Wilson from Selkirk and Donna Borthwick from Langham, who both said that the score in the World Cup between Scotland and Italy was 18-16 to Scotland. Well, that's it for this week. Join us again next week on Borders Rugby Roundup.